Welcome to the spring 2021 semester of behavioral neuroscience. My name is Eric Olson and I will be your professor for this class. The best ways to contact me are through email or through the virtual office, which you can find on the home screen of our Canvas page. This, I think, is the best way, the virtual office, because then everybody can see my response and your question, which will help everybody in the class. First a bit about me. I have been studying behavioral neuroscience for almost 20 years now. I started doing undergraduate research at the Medical University of South Carolina, and then went on to do my PhD in neuroscience and pharmacology at Wake Forest University School of Medicine, and then went on to the University of Maryland School of Medicine, where I was also a guest researcher at the National Institute on Drug Abuse. A lot of my work has studied the role of the brain in drug addiction, particularly the mesolimbic dopamine pathways. And I also have studied the role of dopamine in motivated behavior more generally. I have a long, pretty much in all of my studies, in over 40 papers or so, have involved some sort of behavioral component. At some level, I am as much a behaviorist as I am a pharmacologist, as I am a neuroscientist. But it's really the integration of these three concepts that is what really most excites me in experimental design. So this course will all be asynchronous and online. This is, I think, a great thing. It provides a lot of flexibility. So, we can both teach and learn in this class through and navigate it. So we can work around our family life, our work life, our other classes, our other commitments. And I think that I've really tried to work very hard at delivering or creating a high quality asynchronous online product here that should still be engaging. There will be 7 units. So basically every other week you will have a quiz deadline, 7 total quizzes. And there will also be several critical analyses of emerging topics on neuroscience that you have to participate in. There will also be a skill development experiment that I would like you to participate in that is really centered around an attempt to develop a method, a very quick method of helping you navigate higher education and life in general, while also fostering a sense of community between you and your peers. I've been working with this sort of experimental way to do that, and I would like to sort of test it out on you and hopefully help you along the way. In addition, there will be a large sort of essay assignment in this class. You'll be responsible over the course of the semester for preparing 8 total essays, 4 of which would just be like a typical blue book. I keep calling it a blue book essay, like the little blue books that they would hand you in lecture when you used to actually go to lecture. They would sometimes give you a blue book that you would fill your answer in. So when I say blue book essay, that's what I mean. So 4 of them could be just based on lecture material alone and you sort of telling me what I told you. The other 4, I would like you to pick some sort of one of the topics for 4 different modules. So every module will have 4 or 5 different essay questions that you can choose from. And in 4 of those total modules, I want you to pick topics that you will then do research on. So in addition to what's covered in the class, I would like you to find a couple of peer-reviewed research articles and sort of take the question in the direction that you would like and expand upon it. So I'll go back to that in a minute when we get a little deeper into the syllabus. First, and I also wanted to give just a couple of fun facts about me to sort of personalize this a little bit more. I am not just a robot on the other end of a computer. I am a person. I have been teaching for quite some time in a lot of different settings, including medical schools, health professional schools. I taught at a women's college once. I taught at a historically African American college for a little bit, and I've taught here for about 8 years now. And I really like CU Denver. I think it's an excellent education, an excellent learning environment that you guys have. Um, so yeah, a few fun facts about me. I'm married to Dr. Lindsay Hamilton from the department, who you might have encountered at some point along the way. We have 2 kids, so we're trying to manage all of that, the pandemic nonsense with their teaching and their school with no daycare, which is it's hectic. It's challenging for all of us. I'm sure very challenging for you as well. I really love music in my spare time. I like all different genres of music. I am the weirdo that likes to go to the opera, whereas my wife doesn't. So I either have to drag her, go by myself. I like going to concerts at Red Rocks. One of my favorite musicians to go see there that comes pretty frequently is Bella Fleck. I like hip hop as well. One of my favorite groups right now is Run the Jewels. And I particularly like sort of the fusion in between genres, something that I think Bella Fleck does very well, and Run the Jewels. The sort of the integration of music. Really, I think one of the highlights of multiculturalism. In music and in food, and you bring the different ideas together, and the sum of the is greater than the parts of all the products. So, and one last fun thing, I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. So look at my profile pic in Canvas and try to comment in the virtual office if you can tell me what movie that is from, the Wes Anderson movie. So the required text for this class is Breed Loves Biological Psychology. I view the textbook as really a supplement to my PowerPoint. So my quizzes and all information that I will grade you on is based on my PowerPoints and my lectures as an expert in this field. So rather than reading the textbook first, what I would recommend doing is watching my videos or my presentations, and then going back to the learning objectives and try to teach those learning objectives to a friend, to the wall, to your dog, to whatever works for you. And if you cannot teach the learning objective or describe it out loud, which will help you consolidate the information more. It's really the best way to study is to, it's a fundamental concept in metacognition research that basically the best way to learn something is to teach it. So, go back at the end of one of my presentations and then try to teach the learning objectives yourself out loud. Doing it out loud helps tremendously for cognitive processing. And if you cannot do that, then go look up the relevant information in the book and read it until you can get to the point that you can describe what I was describing myself. So I've already told you a little bit about me and my background and a few fun facts. So the course goals, I would like you to develop critical analysis skills by critiquing leading edge controversial presentations by influential figures in the realm of behavioral neuroscience. This is what I call the critical analyses, and I'll describe those more a bit here. Of course, I want you to develop some content knowledge that allows you to describe how the nervous system functions and underlies behaviors observed in everyday life. These will be the basis of your quizzes. I would like you to be able to describe how alterations in the nervous system underlie behavioral abnormalities observed in distinct psychopathologies, also a common quiz topic. And then I would also like you to exhibit critical thinking skills and an ability to apply research methods in psychology by choosing a research topic. In fact, you'll have to choose 4 related to behavioral neuroscience, performing sufficient research on the topic, and writing an essay on the topic. Again, 4 of these essays have to be researched. 4 of them can be just based on the lecture content alone. And, this skill building exercise hopefully will help you develop skills that will help you study, learn, and cope with academic rigor in trying times while also building a sense of community with your peers and me. There's basic information that might pertain to you. Canvas support is available if you need it. Again, Virtual Office is a great way to ask me questions and point out issues. Like there could be something that I posted that is not up right or something like this. Of course, you can email me, but Virtual Office is a great way, as it just signals to everybody that there is an issue, and then everybody can see my response as well. So, the quizzes are 40% of the grade. These will occur every other Sunday at midnight or by midnight. You have, 2 whole weeks for the most part to, complete your quiz, which will be a combination of multiple choice and short answers, sometimes matching, very occasionally a fill-in-the-blank question. There will also be your discussion posts. So, every other week, you will also be provided information that you have to critique that I think will hopefully, inspire deep thinking. And you will share your thoughts on this material with your peers and then comment on a couple of your peers' posts. If you are not responding to your peers' posts, I will go and deduct the grade that I gave you for your initial discussion post. I also would like you to post multiple choice questions on the, I believe 3 questions on the assigned content. The idea here is, again, going back to the concept of metacognition. When you are teaching a material and actually thinking up questions that you would ask about the material, you're going to consolidate and think about and process the information more deeply than you would if you were actually to answer the questions. And then I will pick a couple of these questions, and those will also appear on the quiz that will occur bi-weekly. The skill development will basically be your grade will be based on you completing a survey, a voluntary survey. And after you complete the survey, a code will be given to you that you will enter into a quiz for a grade. And hopefully that is an easy 100 for you. There will also be these 8 essays that you develop over the course of the year, 4 of which will be researched. So I can give you feedback on one of your researched essays, so you know that what you're doing is what I want. I would like you to submit 1 essay at the midterm that I can grade and give you feedback on, so you're not just going into the pretty much what is replacing the final exam, these remaining essays blind. So to break down each assignment a little more now, for the quizzes, 1 quiz will occur every other week of class. The quizzes must be completed before midnight of the 2nd Sunday. You will have 1 30-minute attempt to complete each quiz. These are open note, but the timing will be tight. It will, not be shocking to me that you will run out of time if you are planning to look up the answers. This is done purposely and intentionally because it is an open note class. It's online. There's no real good way of enforcing this. So the best way to study for these is to, again, go and view my PowerPoint or my videos or PowerPoint presentations. Then at the end of them, go back to the learning objectives and see if you can describe them or teach those concepts out loud. If you can, you're ready to take the quiz. If not, then go back and view the material again or consult the book. The questions are from my lecture material and based on the learning objectives. I'm not pulling out like esoteric information from the book. And around 2 questions each quiz will come from the multiple choice questions that you create in reviewing the critical analysis or discussion assignments. So what's the deal with that? So every module of these 7 modules, so once every 2 weeks, you'll be given some sort of content to assess. This might be either a roundtable discussion of researchers, a TED talk, some research articles, something like this. You will review the expert discussing or describing an emerging topic related to neuroscience. It's often very controversial. So before the first Sunday at midnight, so within the first 7 days of that sort of 2-week module, you must share your initial thoughts on that discussion thread and submit 3 multiple choice questions that may be used to make your biweekly quizzes. The discussion post should be conversational and informal, much like a class discussion. Also note that this stays in the class and you have academic freedom. I expect you to share your thoughts freely about these relatively controversial topics. I do expect you to be respectful of the fact that you are talking to a diverse population of peers. And as a listener, I think it's also important to recognize that the speaker might have different opinions on some of these topics than you, and that is perfectly acceptable. Again, that there's really no right or wrong answer to any of these, but there is a way to participate in civil discourse in a respectful manner. So, that's really the only guideline here, is to be civil, to be respectful. But other than that, feel free to share your thoughts as they freely occur. It's okay to get emotional. It's okay to make references to other classes. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree with me. All of these things are, I think, good in academic discourse, especially regarding controversial topics. And we will, if there is interest, my TA will host non-graded optional Zoom discussions if you really are dying for that in-person, discussion. But, these are set up to occur asynchronously so we can all do them around our other life commitments and family commitments and work commitments and class commitments. So here you can see I developed this little catalog or calendar for you of events. So again, you can see this sort of very structured bi-weekly format that you should get very used to. So every 2 weeks, starting right now, you are going to get basically 2 weeks of work to do. For the first week, I would strongly advise you to review the discussion material or the critical analysis material first. Actually, we're not using Flipgrid this semester, but you will make a post, a threaded discussion post in a discussion board, and then respond to 3 peers within that. You will submit your multiple choice questions to me. And at that point, you should begin reviewing your lectures. Keep in mind that many of your peers will probably wait until the weekend of that first week to make their first post. So you have all of that second week to respond to them while you're reviewing the lecture material for the quiz that will occur by the second Sunday at midnight. And again, that quiz will be on my lecture material, primarily based on the learning objectives. In the first module, we will study the neuroscience of how we process pain versus touch. The second week, we'll study electrical versus chemical signaling. And I like to apply all of these things. And you've been introduced to these concepts in biological basis of behavior. So now let's think about them in a more applied setting. In this case, it will be epileptiform activity. I'll come back to the essays here, but first I wanted to go on and say that in module 3, we'll talk about the different motor systems, the pyramidal versus the extrapyramidal system, and also delve into some of the movement disorders. In module 4, we'll get into sympathetic versus parasympathetic nervous system, emotions and how this relates to facial expression. We'll also touch on aggression and fear. In module 5, we'll talk about neuropharmacology, drugs of abuse, and psychiatric drugs. Module 6, the psychopathology, we'll talk about various psychopathologies and neurosurgeries that are used today. In module 7, we'll talk about hormones, thermoregulation, thirst regulation, and homeostatic feeding. And in the final module, module 8, we'll talk about LTP, emotional memory, and spatial memory. So yes, I think I said before there are 8 modules, and that's why there are 8 essay questions. And so for every other week, you take one of the quizzes, you participate in the discussion of critical analysis content, which I also think sort of breaks up the monotony of the lecture and encourages deep thinking, which is, again, part of Bloom's taxonomy. Please note that none of these assignments are intended to be busy work. Here you can look at the different levels of learning that I'm trying to engage with these different kinds of assignments, with the research essays really being at the ultimate level where you have to understand, evaluate, analyze, and even create work based on your own research. So what's up with these essay questions? Let's go over that in detail. And, I understand that they're like, please feel free to ask questions about this. I think this is the assignment that presents the most confusion. But in each module, you are going to be provided 1 to 4 essay questions and must choose to answer 8 total, 1 for each module. So you are like to space out your sort of content knowledge across the 8 modules. So 1 essay for each module. However, only 4 of these must be research. So I suggest that you pick the topics that are most interesting to you to do research on. These, I would like you to really take the question in your own direction. I mean, like, you can completely modify the question. I mean, like, as long as you stay even relatively on base, it's okay. I would like you to sort of take this in the direction that you like. And in regard to formatting, I am not a stickler here. I know I say here Vancouver format, forget, like, here's an example of what Vancouver format looks like. It's just one formatting style that I prefer to APA, but I don't care if you use APA format. If you want to use APA format instead of Vancouver format, that's perfectly fine by me. It won't affect your grade one bit. What does matter is that you use in-text citation, so I know when you're citing something, and then you list in a reference section that there is a reference that I can look up. And it's also important not to plagiarize. So don't plagiarize, please. And I don't want you to worry about the fine points of APA format, which is one reason that I just suggested an alternative. But if you wanted to use sort of like a halfway APA format, that's perfectly fine. You can use the APA formatting reference style, but you don't need a cover page or anything like that. All you need is a short essay that will be 350 to 500 words in length, excluding references. Again, no title page is necessary. And then I want you to submit one of your essay questions at the midterm that will be evaluated and returned to you so you can refine the additional remaining research essays for your final submission that will occur during, at the very end of the year. It can occur really through finals week. And this will be in the place of a traditional final exam. For the 4 non-research essay questions, these can be based off of lecture content alone. Now, I will provide you the list of the essay questions for each modules at an announcement at the very beginning of the year. I would expect it maybe as early as today. So I would highly recommend that you download the syllabus because it is quite large, because I tried to make it graphical and pretty. So download this so you can keep the calendar for your records on your computer, and then also download that sheet of the essays and begin thinking about which ones you would like to research on your own And again, feel free to take these in your direction. I want it to be your thinking, like your critical thinking, your thoughts. And really, I want you to pick the ones that you're most passionate about researching. In my opinion, really, education is what exists when everything I have taught you has been forgotten. So, at the higher level, when you're on your own, when you've flown out of the nest, you're going to be teaching yourself about content and about topics in the world and what to believe and what not to believe. And the best way to do that is to learn how to form critically analyzed opinions based off of, relatively respected content, which is typically peer-reviewed. And of course, you can find peer-reviewed content on a wide array of subject matters. And you will certainly have a wide array of subject matters to choose from. Most of these are going to be scientific based, but not completely. I mean, there will be some that allow you to go in sort of more philosophical, ways of thinking. And I highly encourage that. You think outside the box. Think outside of what I teach you. Challenge me. Feel free. I take no offense to that. I would love you to challenge me. Don't be offended if I argue back. I like to argue. But I think that is a very important part of academic discourse. And I really look forward to it a little bit in our discussions, in our critical analyses discussions, which are primarily meant to be peer interactions. So for the most part, I'm going to let you guys debate, but I will chime in occasionally to ruffle the feathers and probably say something controversial, just to challenge current conception and hopefully make you think outside the box. So that's really all I have for you at this point. I hope you enjoy the class that I built for you. I really, do put a lot of effort into trying to make this as engaging as possible in an asynchronous format, which again, I think is actually quite awesome. I think that it really allows us to frankly, I think that you get a better education in this sort of class that I've built you than you do in the old ones where I used to just talk to you for 90 minutes at the front of a room. So I hope you, enjoy it, but I'm also very receptive to constructive criticism if you have any suggestions for improvement that will allow me to make this class even better. I look forward to debating with you and discussing all sorts of controversial and far out concepts through the course of the semester. Have fun.